Welcome back to My Life Matters Grief and PTSD Forum. Again, I am so very thankful that you have joined us. In this particular session, we're going to talk about getting through the holidays. Sometimes when we're grieving the thought of another holiday, whether it's Mother's Day, Father's Day, Labor Day, Valentine's Day, there's always a holiday coming. Maybe it's just an anniversary or a birthday or those end of the year holidays. Sometimes when we're grieving, we begin to almost have a sense of dread as that holiday approaches, and we imagine ourselves celebrating or trying to celebrate that holiday without that loved one, without that relationship, without whatever situation it is that you're grieving. We'll talk about how we can get through those holidays, strategies to get you to the other side. Remember, no matter what you're facing in life, your life matters both to God and to us. We left off our last session on grief. I just want to finish that up a little bit before we jump into PTSD. So we were talking about grief. We were talking about how it looks in children, what we can do to help children. I'd like to talk a little bit about these two things. They're kind of related. When the holidays come, I don't know about those of you that are out there, but for me, for a couple of years, I use my dad as a baseline, but there's been a lot of death that I've experienced. I didn't like holidays. I hated Christmas. I didn't like Thanksgiving. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even like church. I didn't even go to church. And I had to go to church. I'm a preacher. So preachers have to go to church and be happy. But I didn't want to go to church. I didn't like church. I'm not going to say I didn't like church people, but I wasn't crazy about them because I didn't want to smile. I didn't want to do all of that. The holidays were really hard because this big person is missing. And that happens when I've lost friends, the same thing. How do people, everyone's different, you may not have that problem. How do people get through the holidays that are coming? What are some things they can do? And then I'm gonna ask what are some ways that we can help or detract? I'll just open it up.
I would say make a plan. Ignoring it and just not coming up with some type of plan may make it a little more difficult, especially if you don't have significant people in your life to kind of make a plan for you. Do something that is going to be meaningful for you. So the first year, I don't think I was quite ready to just kind of be with my entire family. And so I went with a friend and went to Florida to be with somebody else's totally different family, not my own. And that was great for me. I didn't have to think about grief. It was just like a whole new experience. So you may have to travel, do something completely out of your norm. My second holiday, then I was able to kind of say, okay, I can be with my family, and I've had enough time to kind of process what experiencing this holiday is going to be like with the entire family without this significant person being there. And so, for example, one thing my grandmother didn't understand is like it's soul food at grandma's house every Sunday after church. And so as soon as you walk in the door, it's like, where's my significant other? That's like the regular, normal conversation. Well, like the person isn't going to be there anymore. And so we have all these memories attached to being at grandma's house. How does that impact me now that I have to go to grandma's house without the significant person? So that was a transition, and grandma didn't really understand. She like, no, you need your family, you need to be here. And it's like, I kind of need a break.
So it's okay to do that?
Yeah, like you gotta listen to yourself, your body, and give yourself what you need at the holiday time. I needed to gather people, and so for those significant times, then I gathered folks to be around me, not necessarily to talk about the person that I lost necessarily, but just to be there. And so having dinners, I was not gonna have Christmas gifts or whatever from this significant other, right, that I lost. And so I did a gift giving exchange. It was like kind of bring a gift that kind of communicates the year that you've had, and then we kind of exchange them. So doing something that was a little bit more meaningful, inviting my girlfriends to put the tree up for me. Someone said, well, if you always did decorations at the holiday time and then your house is going to be empty with no decorations, that might push you further into grief. So if you put the decorations up before, go ahead and still do it. This year, I don't feel like I have the energy to do all of that by myself because I'm tired of paying for people to come do stuff or asking a brother, like, who is the brother that's going to help me put the Christmas tree up by myself? I never had to put it up by myself. You know what I mean? I put the ornaments up, but I didn't actually have to physically get the tree. So this year, I'm like, I'm cool. I don't have to do all of that this year. I can just show up and be at grandma's house, and it's okay. So just make a plan, whatever that is for you.
Anybody else? How do we get through the holiday?
I like what was just shared is that you have to have a plan. Oftentimes, when you're dealing with a situation that is very uncomfortable for you, whether it's anger, depression, or whatever it is, and specifically we're going to talk about depression, you have to have a plan and sometimes setting goals. Because if your goal is sometimes you manage your life in 3 hours increments. Sometimes I tell people, manage your hours, your days in 3 hours increments. And if you set a goal to, I'll spend time with this person, I'll spend time with that person, I'll spend time doing this, I'll spend time doing that, so I can just move forward and I can get out the bed. Because sometimes you don't want to get out the bed. You just like, I'm just stuck or I'm just numb. So if you have a plan, you just keep moving forward, just keep working your plan. You don't listen to your emotions, you don't listen to your body, you follow your plan. Because your emotions are going to tell you to do the least, or follow the path of least resistance. So you really have to really just have a plan to move your day forward. That's one of the ways of doing it. 2, you have a support system. If you're a family and you want to change your environment, find some friends and do something different. So a support system is very, very important, and everybody cannot be there for you because some people are going to say something to you that's just not going to make sense, and they're going to offend you. And if you're in a touchy place, you know that's not the friend you need to talk to. So you have to find that support system and find a support group if you need to. So those are just a couple of things you do to get through the season.
I'm going to be a little bit of the devil's advocate here. I was told, and it actually helped me, that's why I asked Sheena, is it okay that I don't go? Sometimes I may get there and I need to leave. And I need to give myself permission to leave.
That's okay. I think grandma used to always tell us, give time. And as a kid, you're like, what? What does that even mean? But as you become older and experience situations and circumstances, you realize that you may need time to say, like you said, I don't feel like doing that this year. Guess what? That's okay. Mm-hmm. And you got to give yourself the understanding that that's okay. A lot of times we're harder on ourselves than anybody else in the room. And allow yourself to breathe, allow yourself to be calm, and allow yourself to sit with it and say, you know what, not this year. And guess what? Grandma's going to be okay because I'll be there next year or I'll be there next Sunday or whatever. So that's one thing I think that is a misconception, is that you have to be around all these people. Mm-hmm. No, and a lot of times you just want to be by yourself, and that's okay. But when you find yourself getting deeper and deeper into isolation, and that's something that's totally different, but allowing yourself to be isolated is okay.
Okay. There was someone also that told me that and tell me what you think of this, it's not that they isolated, because the isolation I know is not good. They gave themselves a moment. They gave themselves permission to have a moment. When the moment came, and then after the moment came, then like you said, they had a plan. This is what I'll do after. And by having a moment, whether it was cry, listen to a piece of something that was significant to that situation that they gave themselves a moment, like you said, to sit with it, and then they were able to kind of got that out, and they were able to move forward for the day.
I think that's good. My sister who lost her husband, we went to the grocery store not too long after that, and we were in the juice aisle, and she lost it in the store. And so I stood there next to her, people walking by like, is she abusing that woman? Like, what's going on, right? But later on, I didn't say anything. I just supported her, I just stood there. And later on, what she said was she went to reach for the juice he usually gets. Mm-hmm. And she realized that she didn't need to get the juice. Mm-hmm. And so what she has come to the resolve is, wherever I am, I'm going to allow myself to have that moment, because I'll be doggone if I carry that and end up, you know, having worse traumatizing situations or having worse pain later. She said, in that moment, you know how your grandma said, I'm going to get you where you cut up at? She said, I'm going to deal with it where it comes up at. And so that helped her through the process.
Okay, so Chrissy, giving yourself time for the moment and time to rest has to be a part of the plan. And so initially I didn't kind of factor that in because I'm a planner, so I'm like, I gotta have this, you know, this plan. But I didn't plan for, I needed time to kind of just even sit with what this significant day even means for me. So planning, if you're gonna be with loved ones or friends, whatever the activity you're gonna do, but then you also need time for you to have a moment and then time for you to just be able to rest.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you'd like to connect with us, you can do so at ChristyMinger.com, or you can catch us across social media at the addresses listed below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. God bless and have a wonderful day.